Cool. All right, everybody, welcome. Armando Duran here with John and Jess Hines. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Hey guys,
Hi.
we're good.
Awesome. Look forward to today's webinar. Pretty excited. It is titled, let me just read it correctly here, the difference between calorie and food consumption. And I can't wait to dive into that subject here. But before we get started, I'd like to do a couple announcements from some of the courses that you guys have coming up the pipeline. For the folks interested in the C&T course, this is their kind of like a flagship course that they had for over a decade. They're going to have their next one in April the 22nd through the 24th in Madison, the C&T course, Certified Natural Trainer. Again, you don't have to be a fitness professional. Most people go there for more for personal development or understanding their body. Email Jessica for early bird specials. I think she might have some left, but make sure you just follow up with her. Her email is jessica@monkeybargym.com. We also got the base certification course, March 19th, which is just around the corner in Madison. This is their restoration active alignment training, and this is how you can get to heal the body with all kinds of different injuries. So email Jessica for that too as well for more details, jessica@monkeybargym.com. And we also got the online fitness program. We did an extension on the VIP special of $19.99 per month. We are raising the price to $39.99 per month. The reason why we did that is because people were requesting, emailing me about the special price that they wanted. So we had a huge demand for it. So we just figured we'd just give them one more month to get people more of an opportunity to get a great deal, to get the world's best strength coach in your house, in your mobile phone, in your tablet, in your desktop. The best. I mean, they write out the workouts for you. They have the videos. Everything's there for you. We have a private Facebook group. So we'll be sending out a link after this. But if you have any further questions with that, you can always email me, armando@monkeybargym.com. That's Armando with the A in the middle, ARMANDO @monkeybargym.com. Awesome. I can't wait for this subject here, the difference between food and calorie consumption. So again, this, for the people who are joining the show right now, we want this as a real dialogue, okay? Again, if you scroll over to the bottom of your screen for the Zoom application, there is a Q&A button there or a chat. I recommend using the Q&A. It's a little bit more easier for us to read. And if you guys want to ask questions while we're talking about this, you're more than welcome. Let's have a real dialogue with you guys, okay? So let's go ahead and dive into this subject here. Why'd you guys choose this subject to talk about today, about food and calorie consumption, John and Jess?
Probably the most prevalent approach to eating. I would say most people are primarily focused on calorie intake. Now I'm talking about when people eat and they're thinking, oh my God, I got to watch my weight, or I got to get a handle on my eating. One of the most common ways that people look at it is by counting calories, and it's a way to do it, and it works for some people. It doesn't work for other people, and most fitness books support it. A lot of fitness books go the other route, which is going by just eat healthy foods. And so it's two different schools of thought. And one of the things that we just like to talk about with people is we like to really get people connected to eating whole food, plant strong if possible, then eating when you're hungry and only eating till satisfied. If you follow those rules, you're going to do really well. But the problem is most Americans have issue with quantity of food. So connecting to eating the hand plan, and like this, like we say this all the time, eating your hand as size of a bowl in food. You know, if you do that when you're hungry, then you're only eat till you're satisfied, you're going to do great. But the problem is our appetites are so big that this doesn't really work for a lot of people, and so they continue. We talked about this last time.
Yeah.
So there's a disconnect. So then what do? They can go count calories. They can have figure out we can lay out for you what your calorie intake should be. And then there's two different ways that we teach people how to go about figuring out how many calories you should be eating a day. But the problem with that is then let's say that you should be eating 2,500 calories a day. So then what a lot of people say, yeah, you can eat whatever you want for 2,500 calories a day. Yeah, you can eat ice cream if you want, as long as you're eating underneath your basal metabolism rate of what your body burns up a day.
Yeah.
And if you're eating under that, you should get leaner. It makes sense like that. But there's a big problem with that. When you just get used to eating for calories, you don't pay attention to putting quality foods into your body. And the talk that we like to discuss with people is it's much more than calories in, calories out. It's nutrients in. That's the goal. And that's Joel Fuhrman. It was the first guy to really talk about focus on nutrients, not calories. So you can completely disregard the calories if you focus on, I'm trying to get X amount of nutrients in. Books really support that really well. And that's what, I mean, there's just a lot of different ways to go on it, but we can talk on any of these points. So if people have questions on them, you know, if you want to go one route, we can explain how to do it. If you want to go the other route, the thing is, it's got to be your path that works for you. It's a live with for you. It's not how we say you got to eat. It's something that works for you. And so if it's keeping track of calories, great. If it's going by feel and satiation and eating good foods, great. It's how we're going to work.
Got it. That makes sense. One of the things that attracted me to you guys is that you guys don't count calories, correct? Personally?
You can. You don't have
but
to.
you guys don't count calories.
I don't, but because we've kind of, you know, what John's going to talk about and kind of help people set up is how many calories they should be eating. And because he's kind of put me through that process, I have a feel it now. So it teaches you how to feel the calories that you should be consuming.
Interesting.
And that's different because, I'm so used to, all right, I'm going to be eating 2,500 calories a day if I want to maintain whatever I've got right now. And I'll understand by, counting my calories, how much food that actually is. Then I can leave that crap alone and just go by feel.
Interesting. Okay.
Because exactly what we do is, like we were saying, there's two ways you can do it. You can count calories, and I've done it sometimes in the past, just to see. I did it one time just to prove to people that on a 100% plant-based nutrition plan, I still got plenty of protein. And I did it, and I let everybody, I let everybody see what I consumed and stuff like that, so people could validate, I was getting way over 100 grams of protein a day eating 100% plant-based, with no supplementation either. And people found that hard to believe. So that was one case. Sometimes just to sort of see if I don't feel like I'm eating enough, or I feel like I'm eating too much, then I'll just for a little while, I'll enter in data. And I like to see sometimes how much fat and protein and carbs and stuff I'm getting. Sometimes I like to pay attention to my sodium intake, and different things like that, because just going by feel sometimes, like, you can do that as well. But it's nice to validate it sometimes by saying, man, you were over 2,000 milligrams of sodium today, which is a ton, but most Americans eat way over that every single day. And different things happen to your body, like the puffy eyes and stuff like that. You wake up with bags under your eyes, most likely. It's high sodium content.
Oh, interesting.
Throughout the whole night, maybe you're smacking your lips a lot, and and you got foam or something like that going on, and maybe you had too much sugar the night before, too much alcohol, things like snotty and stuff like that.
Or hungover.
Yeah. I mean, or people that drink, then you're going to have those symptoms throughout the night.
Yeah.
Salt affects, you'll see the bags under the eyes and very dry mouth. Sugar affects mucus and stuff. And people are generally not aware of those things. They just think, it's hay fever season. Allergies. It's allergies and stuff like that. It's mostly your food intake.
Interesting. So those little signs like that kind of give you a kind of a heads up. Hey, listen, man, you got bags under your eyes, not because you've been you're tired. You've been eating a lot of sodium, therefore you have bags in your eyes, or smacking the smack in the mouth. I didn't know about that stuff. That's pretty interesting. And I like that, how you brought that out, John, because that's actually something tangible that we could take today and be more aware of. Like, what if that is actually happening in our life? And then if we're aware of it, we could do something about it. Let me understand what you just said earlier, Jess. You said you came up with something where you could basically help us understand how 2,500 calories feels, correct?
Yeah.
I think that's very interesting how you could help us understand a number of calories and how that's supposed to feel. If you want to talk about that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's what John is gonna walk people through a little bit, and taking your your current lean body mass and multiplying that by your energy expenditure, and finding out exactly what you should be eating based off of where you want to go. Do you want to gain muscle? Do you want to cut weight? Do you want to maintain? It's all kind of these areas where you kind of need to go around. But once you get, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be eating for what I want to do, you start to understand after checking it, putting in your calories, how much you're eating a day. After a couple of weeks, you're like, oh, I can understand this without having to put my calories in.
Oh, I see.
That's what I mean by feel it. You just start feeling it, and then you understand.
Yeah.
And that's where the person starts to get a connection to meal size. And then after you get acclimated to that for a while, and you're like, oh, I'm starting to understand it. And the funny thing is, guess what size the meals generally come back to?
A handful right there, yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Because people don't, like you mentioned, people have a disconnect when you teach them how to do it this way. So this is a method that you guys came up with to help people to understand how this feels.
You'll be freaked out. A lot of us, when I first started, I was like, no way. I was so overeating.
Wow, interesting.
But here's the thing. It was funny because I kind of like this, and I think people are interested in this because, for me, I was 100% plant-based, and I'm like, man, I should be doing great. But I was totally overeating for how much energy I was expending throughout the day. They weren't matching. And so here I am. I'm still working out, and I still think I'm doing great. I'm eating 100% plant-based. How come stuff's not changing? And it just tells you, okay, well, if you want to eat the same amount of food, well, then you got to expend more energy.
Interesting.
Or if you want to just have that energy expenditure, you eat less food. And it can even out depending on what your goal is. Yeah.
And this exercise will basically help us, kind of like a troubleshooting exercise for your eating habits, to see where you're at based on your goal, whether it be muscle building, maintaining, or losing weight, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. That's very tangible, strategic stuff people could take home with them today. So do you guys want to go through that right now? Do you guys need a calculator, like a screen share calculator or anything like that? Or what do you guys?
Oh, a screen share calculator.
A screen share calculator?
I just made that turn up. If that made me look like a rock star, that's pretty awesome.
I can get my calculator and show it to you how I would do it for people if you want.
And this will give time for people to, get their phones out if they're not right next to it, or get their calculator on their computer or something like that. Maybe take some notes too.
Okay, that's a good idea.
It get a little complicated, so we'll give you a couple minutes to get that.
Okay, sure, no problem. While you guys are getting that, this is pretty awesome because this is something that people could take home with them. This is, again, like for me, like when I discovered you guys, for me personally, like I hate counting calories, but if there's a way you can help me understand first how a 2,500 calorie day feels like, and I do that for a while, then like, okay, I kind of know how it feels like, so I don't need to track it. Because for me, before I discovered you, I was more of a traditional health club bodybuilding type stuff, counting every single calorie, protein every single day, and it was overwhelming for me. And it was discouraging for me. Like I felt almost inadequate because I thought everybody else did it with these, and I was just struggling with it. When I discovered you guys, and you guys were plant-based, you guys don't really count calories, like every day. That really kind of attracted me to your guys' message. But this is going to be a cool exercise here. So,
all right, we're ready.
All right, cool.
So, as I was saying, there's two basic ways to get leaner, get healthier. Now, in both of these ways, how we recommend that you guys do it is eat whole food, plant strong, plant-based, either one. 90% or more plants is best. You know, if you're at 50% plants and 50% animal products and processed foods, can you improve that to going towards a little bit more? You know, instead of having cow's milk, can you go to plant-based milks and plant-based sort of dairy alternatives? That's one upgrade that what our objective is, to get just people to eating more plants and reducing their consumption of animal products and processed foods as well. So like I was saying, there's two ways. In both ways, we would like you to eat plant strong, okay? And the simple way I like to do it is just think of everything, eat it in its natural form, whole foods, not processed, not, you know, and restaurants are notorious for adding tons of sugar and salt and stuff to it. Really try to eat stuff as close to its natural state as possible, right? So now the two ways are the hand plan. Simplest way to remember this one is just only eat when you're hungry, only eat till satisfied, drink a lot of water. That's the hand plan. Basically, you're going to eat a bowl about the size of your hand. And when you get real hungry, that's it. You eat that. Fill it with mostly plants, you know, and a typical version of that might be some wild rice, some kale, and maybe if you like, maybe some tuna fish in there, or maybe some black beans or something like that. That's a real nice, simple meal, okay? The second way to do this is for people that that seems foreign to them, to just eat this size of a bowl, unless you can carry a bowl around with you all day and eat, which is a great way to go. Or if you're at home and you're in control of all the meals that you're eating, having that bowl is a great way to go, okay? And it's real simple. Only eat when you're hungry and only eat that much. The other way to go is by counting calories. But there is a problem with that. Most people don't know how to do it. So the simplest way to do it, I'm gonna walk you guys through it. If you have a scale at home that also reads off your body fat and gives you your hydration, that will make this a lot easier. If you don't, the second easiest way to do this is get yourself a tape measure. And for men, you're going to have measurements around your waist and your neck. And for women, you're going to measure around your neck, your waist, and your hips, I believe. And there's a free body fat analysis on the internet. I think it's the Navy has it, and that you measure with your tape measure. And it's very accurate, as long as you do accurate measurements. So don't try and cheat it, like I know some people try.
Tighten it up.
Themselves.
Yeah.
They're like, we're getting there.
So try to be as honest as you can. So that's another way. Or the third way to get your body fat is to have somebody use calipers or some type of device that measures your body fat. Okay, so step one, find your weight. That's easy. Step two is find your body fat. Off of that, then what you're going to do is you're going to find your lean body mass. So you multiply your weight by your lean body mass. So how you do that is, I'll give you a real simple one, for example. Okay, so can you see this?
Yeah, I can see a calculator.
So if you weigh 200 pounds, okay, and you are 20% body fat, okay, you multiply it times 0.8, okay, 20%, that is by 0.8, that gives you your lean body mass.
Okay.
Okay, another way to do it is 200 times 0.8 or 0.2 equals 40 pounds. So you look at that as, it's just two ways to look at the same thing. That's an easier way. So 200 minus 40 pounds of fat equals 160 pounds.
Why is it point?
So it's 0.8, just that's what, if you have 20% of your body is fat, 0.8% is not fat. That's your lean body mass. That's why you multiply it by 0.8.
Got
if
it.
you want to find out just the fat, multiply it by your body fat percentage.
I see.
So they both, doing it either way, one will give you just your total lean body mass, the other one will give you your fat, which you still got to minus from your weight. So either one's going to work fine.
Yeah.
So then what you're going to have is you're going to have a lean body mass, okay? And that's your body. So in this case of 200-pound Joe, his lean body mass is 160 pounds, right? So then there's a scale of energy expenditure that you can sort of guesstimate every single day, you know, I mean, how much energy you generally exert. And it goes from 20 down to 10. And if a person who is 20, that's Michael Phelps. He's working out 6 hours a day. It's off the charts. He has to consume a ton of calories not to lose muscle mass.
Yeah.
Then you got somebody like a Tour de France bike racer who might ride for 3 hours a day. Lance Armstrong used to say he used to ride 3 to 4 hours every single day. So that's like an 18.
Yeah.
A 16 is a person who works out probably 5 to 6 days a week, an hour to an hour and a half, even up to 2 hours a day. That's a 16. A 14 is a person who does maybe 30 minutes of lower impact exercise 3 to 4 days a week. And obviously, you know, if you're not quite a 16, but you're definitely not a 14, maybe you're just put in a 15 then, okay? A 12 is a person who maybe does 15 minutes of walking or movement daily. It's like Tai Chi, maybe. They walk to the store and stuff like that for about 15 minutes a day. A 10 is a person who is a complete couch potato, okay? So here's how you do it. If you want to maintain your weight, okay? So if 200-pound Joe wants to maintain his weight, then he just multiplies what his energy expenditure is by his weight. Okay? So if his energy expenditure is 15, let's say, clear? I had to say clear, actually. That was weird. You're going to multiply it by your guess of energy expenditure. So let's say that he works out 6 days a week, an hour a day. Okay? That might give him a 16, so I'm going to multiply it by 16. That equals 3,200 calories a day. Okay? That's about how much he's eating right now to maintain that 200 pounds.
Interesting.
Okay, now, you can take that and then just what most general people do is they just say, eat 500 calories less than that a day if you want to lose weight. Okay? I prefer to look at your lean body mass and use that. So if we go back, say 200 calorie Joe, okay, he's 20% body fat, so I'm going to multiply that by 0.8, and that gives me his lean body mass, right? Now, if we multiply that by his energy expenditure, which was 16, that's going to give us how many calories a day he should be eating if he wants to get lean.
Interesting.
Okay.
Now, question, I might have missed it, and I'm not good with numbers, but how did you come up with the numbers of energy expenditure again?
It's a scale. It's a guesstimate. You know, and it's just a way for people, trainers, and stuff like that to guesstimate how much energy a person is honestly burning a day. So that's why if you're like, well, I walk 20 to 30 minutes a day, and that's pretty much all I do, you're a 12. That's your energy expenditure a day number. If you're like, we are at around 16. We work out every single day, generally of the week, 6 days a week probably, usually an hour, and sometimes more. So we're around a 16, maybe a 15 sometimes, but a 16 is a good solid 16 we feel.
Oh, I see.
So that's how that works. You sort of got to figure it out. Like Armando, you work out every day?
Every other day, and it's very short, like intense 15 workouts. That's all I have time for.
Okay, so you might be a 13 or 14. Okay, and I'll actually do your numbers right now if you want.
Okay, yeah, sure. Unless somebody in the webinar is brave enough to raise their hand and we could do one from the audience. That'd be
If
pretty
anybody wants us to figure it out for them right now, I'll do it.
We'll do me first. We'll give them some time to respond. Just reply to the chat down in the below the screen.
Okay, now I think you and I talked before. Do you know your lean body mass?
I don't. I don't. I know I'm like 225 right now.
225. Do you remember what I said your body fat is?
Oh, I wrote it down. I have to dig through my notes. Hold on.
I think I know what it is. I'm just going to enter it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's your lean body mass.
Okay, 168.75.
Yeah, now we're going to multiply that by, what did we say your energy expenditure is a day?
A 12.
Around a 13. A
13? Okay.
Around that, around 2,200 calories a day is what, if you want to get lean, that's what you would be eating about.
Oh, interesting. Let me tie that to what, okay, so this is the exercise that'll help me to understand how that feels, like how that 2,100, 2,200. Yeah. This is the exercise.
Yeah. So then if you said, well, I'm going to eat about 3 meals a day, you know, each meal is going to be around 750 calories each, maybe around 800.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, those meals are going to be about this big.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. All right. That makes sense. We got a brave soul here that stepped up.
Okay, cool. If they have their info, I'll figure it out for them.
Okay, so Melody, you say it's if you guys want to look at the chat, John and Jess is right here, but if you click on chat, but Melody says she's 131 pounds right now. She works out 5 to 6 days a week. How long are those workouts? Is that important to know too, as well, John?
Yeah.
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 How long are those workouts, Melody? 1 hour.
And does she know what her body fat is?
Do you have any idea what your body fat? Why am I repeating what you just? She can hear you.
15%.
131.
Okay, so I'm guessing she can see her 6-pack really well.
She's silent. Oh, there she is.
She said no. What is her crickets? No. She said no.
No. Okay.
Okay, then if a person, here's generally, you can see a very, very defined 6-pack. If for men, if you're around 8 or 9%, under 10%, you should be able to see a good 6-pack. For women, 16% and under, you should be able to see a 6-pack. If somebody told you you're 15% and you maybe 20%, yeah. So that makes sense. If you can see just a little bit, maybe of the top of your abs, that might make more sense, around 20%. Okay, so we'll figure it out for you right now. 131 times 0.8, which is what we used before.
That's the 20%.
That's 20%. So that's your lean body mass right there, about 105 pounds. Okay, which is good.
Yeah.
You know, for somebody who works out, a woman around 131, that's good. Okay. Then you work out every single day, she said, I believe.
5 to 6 days a week.
Okay, so we're going to multiply it by 16. Okay, and this is if she wants to cut weight, it would be around here if she wanted to cut weight. Now,
1676.
I would roll that up to 1700. Okay, and again, then that might be 3 or so meals about her hand size. That might be around 600 each, 600 calories each.
So that's her to cut weight, like to get more.
If she was really trying to, I'm telling you, now this is not, I'm not saying this is how you got to do it. Yeah. I am expressing to you guys, this is a way to do this and how you do it, how we like to advise people. If you're going to do it, this is a way how you can do it. All right. Now, if she doesn't want to cut weight, then it would be different numbers for her. Just to maintain is different. Oh, that's clear.
You're good job, Melody. You are very active, 5 to 6 days a week.
That's she would be right around 2,100 calories a day just to maintain. That's what her BMR is.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Okay?
Can you do one? Can you do one with like muscle gain? I just want to know the numbers on that.
You actually do the same thing, except you add to it. Okay, I'll try and do a demonstration here of it.
Would like to gain more muscles? Definitely. Thanks, Armando. Oh, well, I just threw that out there. I just wanted to know. This is a pretty cool exercise.
Yeah, the simplest way to do that, to gain, well, the thing is, you would generally want to do hit your BMR. As far as in her case, it would be around 2,100 calories, 2,200 calories a day, and then constantly work on increasing your strength. And if that's not working fast enough for you, then generally it's the opposite. Instead of generally, a lot of people cut around 500 calories a day to their diet, you add, and you can add it slowly. You know, at 1 week, I'll go up about 250. The next week, you might go up to 500 calories more than you originally started at. And see how that feels. The thing is that you don't want to do is you don't want to start adding so much food that all of a sudden you start putting on body fat. What we see is if you maintain your BMR and you hit it just purely with healthy whole foods, plant strong whole foods, you're going to be putting a high content of nutrients in your body that's going to give you more energy. And if you do a program like what we have laid out for you, and where you're repeating workouts and slowly improving each workout each time you do over each month, you're going to start gaining that strength. And perfect example is we have put all of our trainers on at the Monkey Bar Gym here in Madison. All of them went down what we call a Simple Strong program. And I think almost all of them have put on 10 pounds of lean muscle in the last 6 months.
Wow.
And that's a lot, especially one of them was 113 pounds. She's 126 pounds now.
Wow.
That's the same.
Interesting.
She's eating about the same amount of foods, but she's been working on just increasing her strength over that time and being as efficient as possible with that. And so that's important. You don't have to eat a ton of food, but if your objective is to get bigger, like we see with a lot of high school kids, young boys that are really skinny and stuff like that, and they want to play sports, yeah, then you got to eat a lot more food and do heavier amounts of work, whether it's with weights or body weight. You got to do more challenging work.
Yeah.
On a regular basis.
Yeah. And you have these guidelines within the online fitness program, correct? I remember seeing the Excel spreadsheet you guys have of muscle gain, maintain, and weight loss too. Does that help too, what we're doing? Those graphs that you have? And
that's part of it. Well, the thing is, for those folks on our online membership, we're going to have this for you guys. Hopefully, it will be completely done in March, where we have your massive action plan, and you just pick to follow what your schedule of classes is. Then it's supported with, you have your scheduled classes, and you get classes every day, but you take the ones and you use the ones that you want to do so that it takes you towards your goal. Second part of that is the alignment and balance stuff. You're going to use that based off your massive action plan as well. So that's going to heal your body.
Yeah.
The third part is the nutrition facet, which you're also going to follow what came about on the massive action plan for you. And depending on which is your goal, you're going to read that information. You're going to put these things into play. And by following this type of methodology for your nutrition. And we should have all of that stuff laid out for you. But I even wrote a long article last night on Eating Green, Getting Lean program. And stuff that we're talking to you guys about tonight is actually stuff that we'll be offering to you guys online as members, so that you can easily go step by step and follow it. So you can take this information that we're giving you right now and you can take the next steps. I'm only giving you the first 4 steps. There's about 8 steps to do. And I'm just giving you the first 4 steps so far. So there's a lot of stuff to do. And if you follow it, you're going to get amazing results. And then the next step is you're going to learn how to transition, so you don't have to record your calories anymore, and you can just live with the knowledge of knowing how to do it just by feel. And that's the best way.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome if you can help people to transition from that to flying on their own and having that sense of understanding how that feels, so they don't have to count the calories no more. Maybe every once in a while if they have a specific goal during the part of their life, or maybe they just want to take an audit. But man, I'm telling you guys, I'm going to put a link in the chat room here if you guys want to check out the website to get started on the online fitness program. But I mean, where can you get the best, world's greatest strength coach here, 2 of them right here, hand holding you on the process of this, not only this, but getting strong, conditioning, healing your body too as well. So, I mean, for $20 a month, I don't know, in the United States, in San Jose, me and my friend, we went to Chipotle, lunch for both of us, $20 for lunch.
Ooh.
Okay. Chipotle. Non-GMO, right? Is that cool?
Chipotle is gourmet.
Hey, is that okay with you guys, Chipotle? Is that like plant strong or no? They got tofu. Anyways, but I just posted a link. If you guys want to click on the chat down below, you'll see a link for the online fitness membership for more information, or if you guys want to get started. We are going to be raising the price next month. But man, that's an awesome program, John. That kind of gets me fired up because people do need help with that. Can I go over, if you have some more stuff to talk about, I'd love to open up. But I do got a list of questions. But I don't know if you want to keep.
I was just going to sort of generalize and finish what we were talking about.
Sure.
So just to re-emphasize, for maintenance, you're going to take your weight and you're going to multiply that by your energy expenditure.
Okay? Oh, okay.
For losing fat and losing weight, you're going to take your lean body mass and multiply that by your energy expenditure. Okay? And then you're just going to eat for those calories each day. We recommend the Lose It app. It's free. It's really nice. If you purchase the Lose It app, it gives you nice amounts of information. It gives you trends. It can really break down and show you like what's your most common foods you go to, which can be really enlightening because then people realize, holy crap, I'm eating tons of rice. I'm eating tons of white bread, and those are the majority of my foods. So if you're really trying to eat healthy, you want the majority of your foods, vegetables, fruits, very strong starches if you're going to eat them, like wild rice, sweet potatoes, pseudo grains like quinoa and stuff like that. You want those to be at the top of that list. And that's what's great about the Lose It app. If you get the premium package, it can really break foods down for you and tell you what's your trends and what's your most common foods for carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and overall meals, which I think is really helpful for people because one is just to follow the calories, and that's nice as long as you're staying at, the ones that you're trying to hit. But to really get the next level of knowing what your most common foods are go-tos, and you might realize, wow, I'm eating most of my calories are from processed foods. Or on the other end, most of my calories are from whole foods. This is awesome. I'm doing great. And you'll feel the difference.
Interesting. Okay. It's like a tracking. It's like a tracking app. Like it helps you track all your consumption.
Exactly.
Cool. That's awesome. Love it.
Lose it.
Yeah. And sometimes you might find out that you're eating even whole foods, but you're eating like what Johnny said, too much. Maybe you're eating way too many nuts.
Oh yeah,
that happens that happens, and you're like, oh, I'm eating whole foods, everything's great, but you realize like every single meal you have cashews or whole pecans or whatever, and you're like, oh wait, now you understand why nothing's changing.
Oh,
that exact thing. Jesse and I were in Chicago, and we were just killing the nuts, but we were eating really healthy foods.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I was like, what the hell is going on here? I feel like we're eating really on point. So then I just said, I'm going to track how I'm eating for the next month. I was eating like 40% of my diet was from nuts. I was eating way too many calories then a day. And
you're going nuts.
I was going nuts, yeah. No more bananas.
But that's the thing, because this
so bad when when you're sitting down and you have like a little jar of like sun butter or like some kind of natural peanut butter, and you're watching television and you look and it's gone.
It's like, oh,
Like,
wait, hold on. Who ate all my peanut butter?
I can't eat for the next 3 days.
That's funny, man. That's funny.
It's very helpful for that and to see what you trend towards, which I think is really important. So if you want to count your calories and stuff like that and just get an understanding of how you're eating, follow these steps. I'll have it all. We have it, if you don't want to get started on this right now, the info we're giving you, this should all be available to our online members within the next week or two. I'm almost done with this article anyways.
Cool. Question.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, does the Lose It app have a little orange scale on its as an icon?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. Sorry.
So
we're going to have this available.
Yeah. So we'll have this available, but we don't want people to look at this as, okay, I got to do this for the rest of my life. It's a way to get an understanding of where you are at, and then you begin to transition away from it. And there is a very simple way to do this so that you maintain your momentum that you got.
Okay.
One, you track, you follow, you eat plant-based, whole food plant-based, and you pay attention to what's trending, so you continually try and upgrade it. And then you're going to sort of get acclimated to knowing how big your meals are and what some good meals for you are that give you good energy for the day, and you get used to it. This might take you a couple months, and you're tracking as the day goes along. And then what happens over the next couple months, what you want to do is you want to start writing it down on paper, and then at the end of the day, enter the information and see, am I still right about at my calories that my goal calories? Okay, and am I also hitting good amounts of whole foods and things like that? And if you're still doing that, then you're going to do that for a month or two. And if you're in line with that, then you've gotten the momentum to know how to do it completely on your own. You don't need to follow the app anymore. Interesting. No, it's a great program, because one of the things that we don't want in life is dependency on anything. If unless there's a community of support that you just enjoy. Yeah, that's different. And, they have an online community for it if you want to do stuff like that. But also there's different groups of people that you can get together with, like at Monkey Bar Gyms, we do challenges and stuff like that, which are real fun. So all it is, it's a nice tool to help people get ownership of how they're eating, what they're eating, and then a responsible way to transition so that you don't have to use it if you don't want. Got it. That makes sense. I like that, the tracking part of it. And I like how you mentioned that it kind of sees the trends of your eating habits too, which is very key. And then about 30 to 60 days, you say is about enough time for you to know how you feel about what you eat, and therefore you don't need to do the app no more, which is good. But this is all stuff people, it's longer than that, Armando. I said about 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months. At each phase, just so you really get ownership. So I see. Stay with the Lose It if you're going to do it, stay with it for at least a couple months. And then you start to write again in a notebook and then enter it at the end of the day. You might have to do that that's the part where you might only need to do that for a month or two. Maybe that's what you were saying. But the first part, it's going to take you a while to really get a feel for it. And that might be 2 to 3 months. Oh, okay. Got it. I'm glad you cleared that up. This is all stuff. I mean, you don't even have to be an online fitness member. We're going to have a replay of this MBG TV episode, and the stuff he mentioned is free, the tool, the app, and this is stuff you could apply in your life. But I mean, how much more so would be better to be part of a community and get real-time feedback from, not just from John and Jess, but from people all over the world. If you could just post your what you've been tracking on a daily basis in the community that we have, to get some feedback from people who are trying to accomplish the same thing as you. It's just another incentive to get people to sign up. I think that's a great program there. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I do have a list of questions, but if you're done, you can ask them. Okay, cool. Well, let me get here to the questions.
I'm gonna ask Brittany's questions real quick. Jess, on the email I sent you, I think it's off subject of what we're talking about, but I think you mentioned we should have answered it before we started, but sorry about that.
No, yeah, that's all right.
So Brittany sent us an email, says, "Hey John, Jess, let's see here. I've been a huge MBG advocate for many years. I am ecstatic to have found the online membership available. My question is for my mother. She will be 60 this year, and she stays pretty active. I'm concerned about her mobility. She has surgery on both of her shoulders, and rotator cuff problems. And she was a long-time gymnast and had to have surgery on her knee. She primarily finds exercise in spin classes and in exercise group classes, very low impact. I would love for her to benefit from the MBG has to offer, and she knows how much I love it. Do you have clients that have similar mobility issues? What modifications do you use? Would you suggest that she start with ice and jugo or base? I want her to maintain her balance and get strong, where she could eventually do some more of the movement in the program.
Yeah. Yes, we have plenty of people who have those same issues that come into the gym. And, Brittany pretty much knows the answer. She answered it for herself. Is definitely to do base. Her mom being a gymnast, is not really surprising that all of those issues are happening with her. They ask a gymnast to do these incredibly powerful movements on tendons and ligaments that are stretched beyond their normal range of motion, which is just going to, cause problems. So she needs to, now she's probably way more rigid than ever, and she ever was, and has mobility issues. So now what she needs to do is start to open those up. And the base is what's going to do that for her. If she likes the spinning class, that's fine, but I would probably recommend not doing it because it's kind of exacerbating the areas that are already tight. So it's probably tightening up her hips. It's probably tightening up her shoulders. She's in this bent position. So I really don't think that's a great thing for her to do unless she just loves it with all her heart. If she's like, I'm okay with it, I don't need it, just keep her strictly to base. If she loves it, the combination of the two is fine. But again, I think that the main thing for her is just to stick with base strictly.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's part of the online fitness program too as well. She also had another question. I have a friend that has been lifting traditionally squat rack and bench press, and she puts on muscles very quickly. She's lost her range of motion and can perform as she had previously as an athlete. Where would you start on helping her get back to her full range of motion?
Hers is pretty much the same thing. Brittany knows already that base needs to be incorporated into her training. This is something that she might want to actually do before she trains, depending on what she's going to train. If she's training super, power with the lifts that she's doing, she might want to do the base afterwards. But if it's just a purely strength kind of day, she could probably do base right before. And the reason why I'm suggesting that is that she can actually benefit from, she can actually see how it's increased her range of motion right off the bat. So yeah, it just depends on exactly what she's trying to do, but she needs to incorporate base either before or after the kind of training that she's doing, and she needs to do it every single time she trains. Every single time she trains, she has to do it.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much for that. I have another question here from Melody. In the past, I took supplements to enhance my performance, but now I've gone natural, and I find many times that I lack that same intensity that the supplements gave me. What do you suggest I eat to eat for top performance? Pre-workout, post-workout? ? Yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, certain foods give give higher amounts of nutrients, and certain foods do not. And it's funny, Jesse and I were just talking about this today. Oatmeal and lower nutrient dense foods that are slower going through the body. They tend to not make you feel so great before you train. And then when you have other foods that are high nutrient and especially like a smoothie, a high green smoothie or a green juice or something like that. It's easy for the body to absorb. It's very high nutrient. Those are energy inducing. And so we highly recommend eating things that are fresh. And if you blend them or juice them, that's a great way for you to get some good natural energy. The supplements, as a lot of foods do, they are stimulants. And that when a person goes off of them, they might notice a little bit of fatigue in their body acclimating to not having that stimulus in it, sort of like going off of coffee.
Yeah.
So it's the same with the person who eats a lot of animal products. Animal products actually are stimulating to the body. And so when people go off them, it's a similar effect to somebody going off of coffee. And it's really interesting. Our friend John Allen Mollenhauer was teaching this to us a long time ago about, how people get addicted to coffee. They get addicted to eating a lot of meats and stuff like that, and processed foods, and the addictive substances in those processed foods, a high amount of sugar and salts and fats and things like that. And he was saying to us that there's a high similarity between eating animal products and also coffee. And we were like, serious? And he goes, oh yeah, what it does to your body, it accelerates the growth, and that's a stimulant, and that's why people who eat a lot of meat, it does accelerate tissue growth in the body. And but it also, in the same regard, it helps it grows faster than a person would if they just eat plants, the body, because of this. But it in that process, it overstresses the body, and that's what it leads to the body. It creates a very acid environment, and that's what leads to the body having all of these diseases and things like that. When you consume a lot, it's an acid environment, a lot of stimulation, and you take in all these hormones and things like that as well within these foods. And that's why a diet that the China study proved that it's so unhealthy when you consume a lot of the animal products.
And an example of this I actually saw for myself. We have some friends who have 2 kids, 2 boys, and one of them strictly eats plants. He just doesn't want to have anything to do with any animal product. Yeah. So he strictly eats plants. The other one is like, I'm not eating any plants, I'm eating all meat. So two totally different, personalities. And so they'll come into the gym, and the one that eats a lot of meat is like aggressive. He's like barking, he's running around, he's just super aggressive, and he's kind of pudgy, cute little thing. But boy, he's like, okay, calm down. The other one is so laid back, but so energy. Chill, completely high energy, will hang on, ripped. He's ripped. He'll go and hang on bars and do monkey bars and all this other kind of stuff, roll around the floor, cartwheel and everything, like for hours.
It's just lying.
It's the first time I've ever noticed that.
He climbed up on the monkey bars we had in Chicago. He climbed up off of the ground at the start of jiu-jitsu class. Jiu-jitsu didn't end for 2 hours. He never came down during that class.
What?
Never. And the other one's kind of running around for a little bit, and then he'll sit.
He wants to sleep.
And then he'll get, agitated and get whiny. It was really interesting because you never get to actually see comparison like that. And it's really real when they're that young, this is how it affects you. We've become so desensitized, in our older age, we don't really know what the hell is going on. But at that age, you really see, this is what it does. This is what this does.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, that's true. Wow.
What was the question originally?
About, let me pull it up here. About basically how she used to take she's gone now back to natural. So I found that many times that I lack the same intensity of supplements that supplements gave me. Do you have 2 suggestions I eat for top performance, pre-workout, post-workout?
I was just trying to remember how we got on that.
Sorry, Melody. That's
I
Melody.
sort of took us down.
You're in a rabbit hole right
That's how it
there.
is.
But
You know how we do.
it's a legitimate answer because the supplements and the high amount of animal products, they do a similar thing to the body. Especially a lot of you get your stuff like at a cheaper place, they put a lot of stimulants in them so that you get sort of a high when you take their product, so you get more addicted to their product.
So if she's really like noticing that energy and, you know, kind of depleting, like John said, you might be going through some sort of withdrawal. And if you really don't want to take those supplements anymore, it will gradually work its way out. But you do want to eat some foods that are going to support your workout. And for us, that's some kind of protein and plenty of greens. That's the one that works the best for us. Maybe it's smoothie form or whatever. We have tried, like I said, oatmeal with nuts, and that just does not work. We've also tried fruit bowls that give us energy immediately and sometimes crash us. So it's for me, you maybe likes it. I've felt that energy of like, okay, I'm good, and then boom, I'm not so great. So it can affect people differently, but the one that works the best is a protein in some form of greens.
Question.
And when she says protein, she doesn't necessarily, she's not meaning animal protein. It can be hemp seeds, chia seeds, beans, whatever, stuff like that. It can also, if you want like eggs and spinach for breakfast, that's a fine way to start your day as well. But I'm just saying it can be any of the above. Yeah,
so try that first and then see if that helps with you having a little bit more energy. Be patient with yourself too.
Awesome. Next question. What does BASE stand for, like the acronym, and how would you describe it in one sentence?
Building alignment, strength through extension. Yoga, Aishin Yoga, focuses on helping the body to extend and elongate. People generally are flexed and shortened. So all yogas want to help the body to open up. And what BASE does is we integrate yoga plus strength and alignment and balance exercises all in one class that is unlike any yoga class that you would ever do. It's not a yoga class, it's a yoga and on steroids class, basically, because we're incorporating so many different elements that people need that yoga classes do not embrace, like doing brachiation and all these different versions of brachiations and how healthy that is for the arms and shoulders. That's a really long single sentence, but I hope that sort of answered it for you.
That did. We do have a couple more minutes. Question. We've been getting a lot of YouTube people commenting on your video. I had a question from one of them. Actually, two people. They wanted to know what was the very first pose that Roger Isons did with you that basically changed your life and helped you heal your body.
Sure. When he met me, he had me do front warrior. And that was it. That's the only pose I did for about a year after meeting him. And I would do it every single day. And within 1 month, my knee and my back pain was almost completely gone. And that was 4 years I had debilitating knee and back pain. I mean, I couldn't stand, I couldn't jog, I couldn't sit for very long without having to rub my kneecap because it would feel like it was on fire because it was burning so bad. And Front Warrior did it. But then what that did over that course of that year is I started to realize, wow, I got other areas I can improve upon as well. Mm-hmm. Roger only gave me the one pose because he knew, because of my lack of patience at that time, that I wouldn't have the ability to do a whole sequence. So he just gave me one pose and told me, kill this pose, do it every single day. And I did it, and it worked amazingly well.
Sounds similar to your gangster story of him weighing 400 pounds of taking baby steps.
Yeah, it's actually very similar to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's about 4 o'clock my time, probably 6 o'clock your time. I just want to start closing it up. But before I do, let me do a couple announcements, and then we'll shut down the show here. Again, we do have a few courses coming up the pipeline. C&T course, Certified Natural Trainer, April 22nd to the 24th in Madison. Email Jessica at Jessica Jessica@monkeybargym.com. Just ask her if she has any more, early bird specials there. And we also got the base certification. This is what we just talked about. We do this on the online fitness program, but they're going to have an actual course where you can get certified for it in March 19th in Madison. March 19th. So email Jessica at jessica@monkeybargym.com. Go ahead.
I also want to tell you guys, we love talking to you. We love hearing your questions. Next week, if you guys would like, we haven't done just a Q&A in a while, but we could do a Q&A. But if you have some particular topic that you would really like to learn about or hear from us on, give us a shout out, and you can do it on our Facebook group, or you can tell Armando, and we can put it on the list of possible shows that we'll talk about that.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, absolutely. You can email me, reach us out to on Facebook too as well, and then we'll put that on the list to talk about on our next show for sure. The online fitness program, I'll be sending out an email for the link. There is a link in the chat room right now if you guys want to click on it. But we are doing a $19.99 VIP special extended till the end of the month. We are raising the price next month. And we do have base workout programs in there. Keith, if you're interested in that, right now we have 2 awesome base workouts in there. John just created a 3rd one for us. We're going to be releasing in just a little bit. So email me if you have any questions, Armando@monkeybargym.com. Anything else you guys want to close with, John and Jess, before?
No, we're going to go out for sushi.
Sushi?
Yeah.
Is it non-GMO, free range? Is it like, does it cast a shadow? Is it,
I'm pretty sure it's not, but
don't eat it if it casts a shadow. All right.
It's a restaurant here in town that's very conscious, and they try and get everything local. So hopefully it will be pretty healthy.
Awesome, man. Hey, I just wanted to thank you guys. I know you guys have a very busy life running a business and everything online and offline, but thank you so much for your time. Give us an hour every week to share your knowledge with us. It's basically changing people's lives, and we really appreciate it. So thank you so much, John and Jess.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Have a great night.
Good night.